Part 76. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 753. 753 Looking for Stone. Huang Shishi said angrily, "Do you still have a face to plead with that sow? This sow is so jealous that she always breaks down the ferry road. I will break her ferry road today." The thin monkey scratched his head and said, "Master Zhenjun, you can't do it. In fact, I also know that my wife is cruel, but her brother is the owner of the city and also Yuan Zhenjun. Arise, I don't care about life and death, but the whole city is suffering." Unexpectedly, this skinny monkey had a conscience, and Huang Shishi did not continue to pursue it. He asked his son-in-law to collect 500 spirits wages, and he took his son-in-law back to the team. Yunyu Mozong and others did not care. It was normal to accept a maid, and everyone was on the road again. Unexpectedly, when I got in the car, Huang Shishiwo came up again. It turned out that the skinny monkey was worse than the sow. This guy used the 6-year payment as a condition to trick the young women into slavery. When they waited for 5 years, they forced them to play with it. Otherwise, they would rush going out of the house and letting you dry for 5 years. Many sisters swallowed, and had to let the skinny monkey torture in the end. "I knew it, I killed the dog couple on the spot," Huang Shishi shot angrily. Ye Kong laughed. "Then I'll go there, just because he has what I need." Huang Shishi said, "No, I want to go too." Ye Kongdao said, "When you come out and experience mortal life, you should be mortal. Do nt take it easy. You also know that you can easily give up your achievements." "But I just can't help it, you still take me with you." "Big deal, I won't take it," Huang Shishi begged. "Okay then." Ye Kong took out the hidden amulet, and the two posted it, then came out quietly and returned to the city. The fat woman was sober, crying, and yelled at her mother, cursing in his mouth, "You're a useless thing, I've been beaten by the old lady, and you also gave the 500 spirit stones. I followed you for 8 lives. It's up." The thin monkey sighed, "Ma'am, don't tell me. If I didn't pretend to be upright, you wouldn't protect your life." The fat woman scolded, "You can't fight, will you not send someone to find my brother to help?" The skinny monkey said, "Madam, you are really faint. The city owner has gone to participate in the ascension ceremony of the Emperor Sword Li Yan of King Sword of 10,000 Swords. He will not be back in half a month." The fat woman then remembered, patted the bed and cried, "Brother, why am I so unlucky? As soon as you go out, I will be beaten. I am really unlucky." Yexing, who was hidden, was shocked. "I didn't expect Wanjian Mozong to be soaring. It seemed that I had to move faster, and I didn't know if I could catch up." At this time, Ye Kong heard Huang Shishi's voice, "Hurry up and kill this woman. I hate it when I see it. Why is there such a person in the world?" Ye Kong laughed, "In fact, for the real bad guys, it is cheap to kill them. Like that fat woman, she should destroy her practice, make her unable to cultivate, and taste the pain of being broken off the road. And the thin monkey, just he should cut off the 5th limb he complained about so that he can only look at the woman and cannot move." "Well, that's good," Huang Shishi agreed. When Ye Kong suddenly appeared, the two guys were already frightened. Ye Kong directly destroyed their ki, and broke the skinny monkey. Then Ye Kong ransacked all the spirit stones in this house, and even he did not let go of his house. The wind and sand here are large, and the houses are all tall stone. If it is an ordinary person, Ye Kong is still embarrassed to take the shot. However, they can directly take the furniture with the house and roll it away. The two wicked men also suffered retribution. The oppressed maidservants and male servants all came to thank Xianxia. Huang Shishi sent severance payments one by one. Finally, Ye Kong shouted, "Ye Kong under the name. Those who want revenge on me can remember me. Name. I will give you all the joy." Ye Kong yelled 3 times, and then led Huang Shishi out of the city and chased the team. This time, the stone in the pipa beads is enough, and the wood is also available. Zhu Lingfei and his disciples are also busy. One day later, a few beautiful huts appeared by the pond. The son-in-law they rescued didn't go with them. Huang Shishi gave her a storage bag and said, "Here is a method of painting the magic demon and a voucher token. You take the storage bag and let's go to the Taihua Jinghuiyan demon section. When you get there, someone will naturally take you into the section. This road is not too far away, but there are also several realms. I hope you practice all the way back, and after more suffering, the heart of cultivation will be more firm." The son-in-law immediately scratched his head and left with a storage bag. This road is not much for Huang Shishi or Yekong, but she is a minor repairer of the fourth layer of gas refining, but she can go to the demon sect, even if it is difficult. Yekong knew that the road was not easy, especially the vast sandbar, so he called that son-in-law, and gave a sample magic weapon and several life-saving spells. The son-in-law said, "Thank you, my suzerain." When the son-in-law was gone, Yekong haha laughed, "Zongju, this is the first time I heard this title." Huang Shishi gave him a glance at him, saying, "The Lord's relative is the Lord. It's a pity that my father only has the name of a relative, and there is no truth about that." Someone stepped up shamelessly again. Huang Shishi's cheeks suddenly floated on the red clouds. Mei Mei gave a white glance to someone. "You, all day thinking about that kind of thing, shameless." Someone sighed, "Isn't this successful yet?" Huang Shishi yelled, "Without conscience, you won't want to succeed." Yekong laughed, "No, after the key succeeds, I change from thinking every day to doing it every day. Get off. Go and do it with your sister Lingfei." Huang Shishi finally couldn't talk anymore. Yekong laughed and laughed, "Fun for you to play. I'm going to see my 200 million spirit stones, you just wait for sugar daddy." 3 days were up, but when he came to the Black Demon sect, he still didn't get the news of Kuangpeng, which made Yekong helpless. "Oh, I'm so unscrupulous. It's not bad to have 1 million spirit stones, and I'm greedy for 200 million, well now, people don't want you anymore." Yekong is now desperately desperate. But just when he was annoyed, the voice of the woman who was extremely familiar was loud. "The distinguished disciple number 9257, elder number 4 invites you to meet the elders." The voice of a woman is as good as yes yen at this moment. "Accept it," Yekong responded endlessly. Light flashed before his eyes, and Yekong was teleported to the large round room last time. However, unlike last time, there were already a man in black sitting on the 17 large chairs around him, and only seats 1, 2, and 3 were still empty. Except for Elder Quanpeng, no one in black on the seat took off his hood. The room was very quiet, as if sitting on 14 mummy. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 754. 754 leaves empty tell. Disciple 9257, your application was approved by the Presbyterian Church. Now 200 million spirit stones have been charged to your account, but these 2 billion spirit stones are only allowed to be used for purchasing items or offering rewards. You are not allowed to withdraw cash. Do you have any questions? Elder Kuangpeng sitting above said suddenly. No, although it was only allowed to buy things, but the money was for nothing. What's your opinion? Besides, if you really need a spirit stone, you can take out the items and sell them. At most, the price of the item of the black demon is a little high. When Yekong agreed, Elder Kuangpeng continued to say, okay, then you can tell now. Remember, don't miss a word. In the meantime, if you have any questions about elders, you can always ask questions and hope you can answer them as they are. After all, we all have a common purpose and understand the situation there, and it will be very beneficial to you. 9257. Okay, Yekong looked around at everyone, nodded one by one, and began to say, in fact, Yekong is the Kangnan mixed Yuan suzerain. Yekong didn't expect that. As soon as he said a word, the elders immediately whispered to each other, and then asked each question one by one. What the is Kangnan? Is Kangnan's cultivation level very low? Why would you become a suzerain if you are a fake person? Is there a demon in Kangnan? How many denominations are there? No wonder, everyone has been yearning for Zi Kang seeing, and now people from outside are of course very curious. However, Yekong can't tell them the truth. Ye also wanted to collect all the lost exercises in Kangnan here, and go back to make a fortune. Besides, if these old masters who have been cultivated in depth have gone to Kangnan, I'm afraid it's inevitable and bloody. In Kangnan, there are 18 homes, 180 in the middle, and countless door-to-doors. The Xianxia family is even more bullish. Someone finally started to live, and he never drew a draft when he lied. Yes, he favorably said that it was not good for him. He would not say that the guys had no doubts, listening quietly one by one. After Yekong talked about the situation in Kangnan, he went to Kangbei, followed by the Devil District. After talking about it, he talked for a few hours, and then answered the questions of the elders. I know how long I've spoken, and someone I'm talking about is frothy. Alas, it's not easy to make money this year. After Yekong finished speaking, all the elders in black suits were lost in their thoughts, probably thinking about the way to go to Kangbei. After all, there are not many insignificant monks like Elder Kuangpeng, and human monks still hope it can soar. However, in a place like Yonyeo, there are many dangers. If they are found by the holy demon sect, they will likely be executed, so they all want to return to Kangbei. And Kangbei still has one that attracts them, that is countless monsters. The monster beast Netten is generally useful to the Kangnan practitioners, but for these monks, they are not the same. Absorbing the monster beast Netten is a practice method for many monsters. However, there are so few monsters in Yonyeo, so that many great demons have occupied a realm dedicated to raising demons, and Yekong, one of the beast realms who participated in the Iron Arm Demon's entry test, was one of them. So who do those elders who don't want to go to Kangbei? There are so many beasts, and even ancient monsters. If they get a lot of Netten, they will probably speed up their cultivation a lot. They were thinking, but someone looked anxious. I had to go and see my money, I had to spend it, 200 million spirits, haha, I got rich. He glanced at the elder Kuangpeng above. Kuangpeng laughed and said, our 9257 is a little impatient. If you have any more questions, just say, if there is no problem, we will end the meeting. The elders nodded, signaling that they had no more questions to ask. Kuangpeng waved and said, then we will meet. After he finished speaking, the elders teleported one by one, but some of them stayed. One of them, the black man in the 9th chair, came over. A murmur sounded, quack, boy, I said we would meet, I didn't expect to meet so quickly. Yekong heard a moment, and said, who is this? The voice said again, boy, look at your qualifications, are you interested in joining us all, Mozong? Yekong suddenly realized that he dared to love the elder number 9 who was the luffy old devil and got into the stomach of others. It's a senior. If you've ever met a senior, don't make fun of the seniors. Yekong hurriedly saluted his fists. The old demon Luffy said angrily, who is joking with you? I really mean, how is it? It's fun to join us, everyone. You can do whatever you want. If you want to be a man, you will drill into the man's belly. As a woman, you drill into a woman's belly. Yekong fainted. Is this Luffy old demon a real nerve or a pseudo nerve? Is this fun? Still Kuangpeng came to save the field, and a shot of Luffy said, you're everyone, Mozong, you are the one from your disciple to the suzerain, and you're embarrassed to receive it? What is Mozong so much better? Luffy's old demon was furious. Kuangpeng, don't think that you have a Mahayana period, I'm afraid of you. You can despise my demon sect, but you can't say that this sect is shit. I also said that your demon is. Kuangpeng laughed, I'm just a casual repairer. How can I have the magic sect? If there is, it is the black section. You dare to scold the black section, you must be careful that the elder punishes you. When Luffy heard the elder, he was so scared that he didn't dare to say a word, didn't say hello, and one teleportation was gone. In addition to Luffy, there was another person who stayed. That was the elder number 17 I had seen last time. Although I could not see this person, I could see that this person was kind. The elder on the 17th came over and smiled, 9527, we met again, I really did not expect you to be a monk from Kangnan. Yes, on the 17th. On the 17th, the elder said, then I ordered the disciples to give you a gift. After he finished speaking, Haha smiled and teleported away. Yekong was a puppet again, who is the elder on the 17th. What gift did you give yourself? Kuangpeng said, the elder on the 17th is the former sovereign of the Izumi demon. Everyone thought he was dead. In fact, he has reached the late stage of refining and is about to enter the period of integration. Oh Yekong nodded, no wonder he left from Taihua realm, and Huang Guangsheng sent someone to send the VIP token of Izumi demon. It turned out to be the order of the Elder 17. If you think about why there are betting points in the same place as Devil in Black, then everything is clear. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 755. 705 502 million. Kuangpeng also said, 9527, I want to remind you that the person who actively reveals your identity to you here is a great trust in you. If you are outside, you cannot leak a little wind, everything here, all the secrets here, even if dead, can't reveal the slightest. Yekong nodded. Elder Kuangpeng, please rest assured. I always have the righteousness in Yet. What should be said, what shouldn't be said, is the knife holder around my neck. I won't tell the slightest. Kuangpeng nodded with a smile and said, actually, the disciples who have entered the Presbyterian Church will be cursed by the system. If the secret of the black demon is revealed outside, they will explode and die. Only if you agree, you will be relieved. Otherwise, even if it is the Mahayana period, you cannot break the spell. I hope you remember, do NT try it easily. Ah, Yekong was startled. No wonder those mysterious elders dared to tell their identities. There is such a spell, but think about it, it is also necessary. It is the only way to keep the secret. Yekong asked again, how did the elder, the second elder, and the third elder not appear today? Kuangpeng said, I did NT tell you last time, the elder never appeared, and I have never even met him. He always gave instructions to other elders through Yunqian, but even this instruction is very less. It is really mysterious to think that this elder, as the supreme chief of the Black Demon sect, has never even come forward, and I don't know how this person was cultivated. Kuangpeng also said, the second elder has a strange temperament and a peculiar practice. It is called forgotten magic. After practicing, those who know him will slowly forget him. Don't hide it, if you do NT ask from then on, I forgot that there was a second elder. Yekong fainted, still have this magic? It's strange and strange. Yekong again said, presumably the second elder is the safest, and those who are Saint Mozong may have forgotten him for a long time. Kuangpeng laughed, yeah, don't say that people have forgotten him, even he himself has forgotten. He has forgotten his name and fortune, and he has not been here for a long time. He also forgot the identity of Elder Mozong. Yekong is faint, and there are such people? That's just an idiot. What about the three elders? Yekonro asked with interest. Kuangpeng said, the three elders are normal and will often come, but the demon who he is in has been provoked recently. The reason why he didn't come today is probably to kill people. Oh, these three elders are also enough, and the faction was destroyed by provocations. Ye Kong could not help but sigh. Kuangpeng said, what else is going on? I'll go if it's okay. It's okay, Ye Hollow said, I have a fart, I just left you because you didn't leave. Subsequently, Kuangpeng and Ye Kong were teleported away. When he came to his small room, Ye Kong asked in a hurry, Yun Qian, check my account. How much deposit do I have now? Honorary disciple number 9257, you have a deposit of 220 million spirits in your account, of which 200 million are restricted for withdrawal. 200 million is the appearance fee, and 20 million is the 10 purple jade sold. Ye Kongshuang, here's the next one, really, what are you waiting for? Go shopping. First, he took out more than 20 million yuan that can be withdrawn. Then, Ye Kong passed the passage and came to the trading floor. At this moment, he was already in black. Of course, the first step is to buy the full text of the Acacia sect, which is related to the wealth plan. I ran and saw that Yunyeo is still a demon, who would spend 1 million to buy this kind of exercises. But for Ye Kong, 1 million is not expensive, and it will be turned over 100 times in Kangnan. After buying the exercises, Ye Kong didn't forget to leave a message to the seller Chen Guzai and ask him what other ancient books were there. I got a glimpse of the Acacia sect, and sure enough, it's really the full text, everything from refining to the end of the Mahayana. Putting down the exercises, Ye Kong went to see various elixir again. He had eaten up a lot of elixir in Lingyaoshan, and he had to add something. Although the commonly used elixir is much more expensive than the outside, they are all good elixir sold by the Yingzhu elixir, so it is more expensive. In fact, Ye Kong also wanted to contact the Ying clan shops, but it didn't matter. Those Shadow Clan folks don't know he is the head of the Shadow Clan, it would be useless to tell them, they might as well go to Peepa Mountain to prove that everyone will know. After buying a large amount of commonly used elixir, Ye Kong came to Tiankatabao again. As soon as he arrived, a spirit fruit attracted his attention. One golden fruit, which is taken by those without a spiritual root, can appear randomly. The price is 5 million spiritual stones. It can be said that the price is ridiculously high, and it is necessary to spend 5 million for a person without a spiritual root to obtain a spiritual root. What's more, spiritual roots appear randomly. If a garbage spiritual root emerges, it will be a big loss. The most important thing is that has a lot of magic sect methods, even without spiritual roots, you can practice, just like the Iron Arm section. Therefore, a person with 5 million spirits would rather spend money to find a way than buy this fruit. Ye Kong also felt expensive and left a word for the seller, wanting to bargain. Then he continued to look around, and at this look, he saw a few more useful materials. They are all necessary materials for his other flying swords. Although the price is extremely high, buddies are now billionaires, millions of them, drizzle, buy them quickly. After a lot of shopping, it took more than 20 million spirit stones to return to my own space, and the main and auxiliary materials of the second Super Fijian Zeologian are all. In fact, Ziu and Lai Shui existed before. The key is 2 auxiliary materials. Because of the volatile nature of purple jade, it is necessary to add amethyst when refining Fijian. The so-called amethyst is a kind of stone. This thing has no other function. It can be made into a letter box, and the amethyst will not volatilize when it is placed inside. Because of the single function of this stone, the price is very cheap. But it is very rare, because it is cheap and the demand is scarce, who will sell it? The other is the 1 UN heavy water, which is stable and strong water. This kind of material is very expensive and very commonly used. Many items are needed for refining, so it is always in short supply. Today, Yekong has bought these two auxiliary materials, so he can make time to make the second super flying sword. I also bought a few other Fijian materials, but they were all incomplete, so I will only look at the opportunity later. Yekong turned around in the trading hall again and bought some items before returning to the carriage. As soon as I went back, I was choked in the ear immediately. Where the have you been, boy? For 2 days. People worry about death. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 756. Magistrate. 2 days, Yekong opened his hand on his ear and sighed, "Mrs, it's not easy to make money for my husband. For the past 2 days, I have been fighting against Confucianism, and my saliva has spoken for hundreds of pounds. That's how I earn some spirits. You have to poke my ears back. Tongue warriors. Huh, I think you are a warriors, milk, right," Huang Shishi said, and he couldn't help but fluttered and laughed, pushing Yekong road, "You are a hooligan." Yekong fainted, "Your ancestors, women really have unreasonable ability." I didn't say anything. Why is he a rogue? Huang Shishi yelled, "Of course I blame you. I couldn't say such things before. It was all with you, and I became a female hooligan too." Yekong laughed, "What are you afraid of? Rogues between husbands and wives are not rogues, otherwise there will be no serious people in this world." He said he took out a few gadgets such as hair buns and combs. These were both women's decorations, but they were also magical instruments, each with their own functions. For example, that jasper gardenia is a storage utensil, and the space inside is several times larger than the general storage bag. And the comb, which is also a very good tool, is said to have a strong offensive ability, but Yekong has never used it. Although Huang Shishi is Yuan Ying Zhenjun, she is a woman after all. She likes these refined gadgets and she can't help but hold them. "Help me plug it in." Huang Shishi's little hand reached behind her head and curled up her black hair, asking Yekong to plug her in a bitch. Okay, Yekong gave her a bitch. Every day, I am amused with Huang Shishi, and then go shopping in Mozong in black. I watch the scenery in Pipazolai, and it is 2 days later. This day, the team finally came to Wanjian realm. Wanjian Mozong, Wanjian Palace. At this moment, all the disciples are smiling and welcoming the guests, but they are proud of the disciples of other denominations in their own country. They are excited for a reason. Wanjian Mozong, another female suzerain, Lord Li Yan, is about to ascend, and the ancestor hall needs another portrait, which is the honor of Wanjian Mozong. This is already the 100th immortal of the 10,000 years of demon swords soaring for tens of thousands of years, so this ascension conference was especially solemn. Not only did you invite the princes of various factions in the vicinity to hear the mysterious holy Mozong, all sent staff to attend. In the hall, Lord Li Yan was rumored, and she was watching the disciples busy decorating. From time to time, she would insert 2 sentences or come up with new ideas. She was excited and excited in her heart. After she soared, she became an immortal. Most importantly, her father, brother, sister, and elders who have soared in the past will be able to meet by then. I don't know what the fairy world is like. Li Yan thought to herself. Muttering in her heart, a white-faced young man walked in outside, and when he came in, he cried affectionately, "Aunt, why hasn't my aunt arrived yet?" This man is the son of Li Yan, the younger brother of Li Yan, named Libo. The cultivation of the Dandan period, has qualifications in the middle and lower ranks of Wanjian Mozong. He usually does not concentrate on cultivation. He only knows that he is a female disciple, so he stopped in the late Dandan period and made no breakthrough. However, because the descendants of the Li family were dying, Li Yan knew that Li Bo had some bad habits, but she always loved to protect him, and he regarded him as his own son. Seeing Li Bo coming, Li Yan laughed and said, "A few days later, your aunt will leave." Xiaobo, don't you have to do those funeral things again, then no one will keep you safe. Li Bo looked dark. He did a lot of evil and offended more people. There were not many known friends in Mozong. Before that, Li Yan had maintained it. Later, he was afraid of suffering. And, why don't you let me be the Lord, so I won't be afraid of them, Li Bo said. Li Yan sighed and said, you kid never concentrates on cultivation and only knows how to play all day long. I really want you to be the master, but how can those elders serve you as a monk? If you are promoted, you're angry, I'm afraid you'll die faster. Ah, Li Bo was pale and scared, in fact he was not a bold person. He thought about it, and, please rest assured, your nephew must be careful in the future and practice with peace of mind, not to worry her aunt in the upper world. Seeing Li Bo's nervousness, Li Yan is distressed again and smile, but don't be so afraid. Your aunt has already arranged it for you. Even if your aunt is sorry, isn't there your aunt? I told him that he will try to keep you safe. Li Bo suddenly blinked. Yeah, my aunt is gone, and there is a big sister-in-law. If it weren't for the grandmother, how could Wanji and Mozong stand out from the rest of the world? Wanji and Mozong can have today's glory, all because of the grandma. And, I still have something to do. Li Bo turned and ran out. After a while, Li Bo came to another small hall and called out a few young monks. Li Bo said, is there really a shadow woman in that convoy? A monk nodded, of course, there is a convoy of the Shadow Clan. Every time they come, there are 3 or 4 Shadow Clan women. He finished, pouting again, the Shadow Clan girl is really beautiful. Turned over, and it was worth it to let me play once. Li Bo cursed, look at your success, not only do we have to play, but we also have to come back and play slowly. Hey, who came to attend the Xianxia conference this time, who would think we did it? Another monk frowned, Xiaobo, didn't you say that your aunt hadn't covered you since you were sword? Are you careful about everything? I'm afraid in case something happens. Li Bo cursed, east window you. You know, Wanji and Mozong can have this situation, all because of my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law is not an ordinary person, my aunt is gone, and my sister-in-law. NND, I haven't played the movie Clan Girl yet, I have to play this time. As they were talking, they ran into another Zuji disciple, Uncle Xiaobo, the lord of the holy demon sect has come, the lord asked you to go. Li Bo smiled proudly at everyone, my uncle is here, so be prepared for him. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 757. 757. It really is a sword practice for every family in Wanjian realm. Yekong's convoy has driven into Wanjian realm. Along the way, the villages on both sides can see a lot of people practicing swords, whether mortal or monk. Lao Cai is a Zhuang household. In short, everyone is holding a sword, as if it is very fashionable. Huang Shishi has never been here, but in some cases of Wanji and Mozong, she still heard people say. Of course, Wanji Anjing is the dominant family of Wanji and Mozong. This is known to the outside world. It is said that people in this area are all about swords, and there are 3 or 5 showing prestige when they go out. Yekong was amused. Just a little more then, push a car when you go out. The car is full of swords. Huang Shishi raised him with his finger, and yelled, that's not a swordsman, is that a sword seller? Yekong laughed. Swordman for short. Huang Shishi's chest trembled with a smile, and cursed, you boy, please save some morality. It's okay to stay ethical, but Ben had to be addicted first. Go and find your sister, Lingfei. When someone couldn't help but want to rub a handful of melon, someone called out, Ye Daiyu, our Uncle Chiu and Uncle Zhang invite you to meet. Okay, here I am. Yekong got out of the car, walked into the lead car, hugged fist, Chiu Daiyu, Zhang Daiyu, thank you very much this time. If you were not following the Gazong team, Ye could not have arrived in time. Hey, look at Ye Daiyu, you said. Zhang came over, took Ye Kong to sit down, and said, we should be grateful for it. If it were not Ye Daiyu, we would not be able to safely reach Wanjian realm this time. Chu Chu took out a black bag and handed it over, saying, this is a little bit of us, huh, you were about to join the team at the beginning, we almost refused, I'm really sorry. Ye Kong took it, and sighed in the god, and found that there were more than 10 top-quality spirit stones in it, and he hurriedly pushed back, no way, this is too much. Chu Chu and Zhang Yun's insisted on giving, persuading, this time we came to Wanjianjing to deliver spiritual flesh. When we met those robbers, we calculated and discarded a car of spiritual flesh. This time Ye Daiyu helped us through the difficulties. Sharing meat, we will give you a discount. Ye Kong shrugged off, I can't take it. You go in the wind and the rain, it's not easy to earn some spiritual stones at the risk of your life, and there are so many disciples who build foundations and practice gas, and I don't lack money. Chu Chu furiously said, this is not a matter of lack of money and money. How can my disciples who travel around Mozong be favored by others? You do need a spirit stone, you can take the last car. Ye Kong smiled bitterly. What can I do with a cart of meat? Is it possible to switch to a meat butcher? There is no way, but it is difficult to be hospitable, then accept the spirit stone. Then Ye Kong replied, well, you should return after you have delivered the goods. Be careful on the way, the escaping Yuanying Zhenjun comes back for revenge. Chu Chu laughed, I do need to worry about this. I want to tell you a few days ago, I have traveled to the Blood Dan demon, and uprooted the whole Blood Dan demon. Killed, fled, and there is no more blood sect of the demon sect. No, Ye Kong opened his mouth in astonishment. He could not think that the Yunzong Mozong was not so powerful. The handwriting was so big that he even destroyed the Blood Dan Mozong. Chu Chu proudly said, don't look at our Yunyo Mozong as a horseman, who has worked hard, but how many people in Yunyeo dare not give me the face of Yunyo Mozong? There is only an open-eyed Xiao dare to offend me Zone Tianwei. Chu Chu said, and the words turned, and said, we have a good income and welfare in Mozong. The most important thing is that brothers in Zone talk about morality. What's more important is that Zone Mencken gave his disciples an advantage. He did not give up one disciple, disciples are bullied. There are not many such sections. What about Ye Daiyu? Don't give up on a disciple, don't let a disciple be bullied. This door is really right for Ye Kong's temper, but Ye Kong will not join. Excuse me, thank you for your kindness, but unfortunately Yema is used to being idle. Besides, my wife and I have to go to other places. That being the case, let's forget it. Chu Chu was a little disappointed, but they were unwilling and they couldn't help it. At the moment he said again, go into the main city of Wanjian demon sect immediately, let's just stay away and hope that there will be a day to meet again. I believe there will be. Ye Kong left with a fist. Back in her car and telling Huang Shishi about it, she didn't expect it, but she confessed that she would rather have spiritual flesh than spirit stone. It turns out that Huang Shishi has been pondering, so why go to Peeper Realm in the future? I heard that the flesh flickered in my head. Ye Kong listened to her thoughts and fainted, then thought about her extremely charming, the death of unreasonable people, and then raised the machete behind the meat case. How uncoordinated, how uncoordinated. No, no, how can there be beauty selling meat? Huang Shishi doesn't matter, why can't beauties sell meat? There is an idiom called Xianxia, expensive meat, like me, it's Xianxia, haha, the meat sold is expensive. Ye Kong fainted again, what does this mean? Sister, please don't tell me that you are my wife of Yekeza. You have no culture to be outrageous. You are so beautiful and tender, that is to say the prostitutes in the blue house. The meat sold by these women is not spiritual beast meat. The flesh of them. Huang Shishi flushed suddenly, scolding, it's you gangster, go and ignore you. Ye Kong laughed, Sister Shishi, how much of your flesh is touched, don't you know how expensive it is? Huang Shishi bit her lip, opened her teeth and yelled, my mother fights with you. In the afternoon, the team entered the main city of Wanjianjing. It can be seen that Wanjianjing is much larger than Taihuajing, and the main city is also more majestic and luxurious. The avenue saved by the white marble stone paving can even run several large cars in parallel. The shops on both sides are row after row, they can't see the head at a glance, they sell everything, there are countless monks in and out of the door, and there are many street vendors who set up shops along the street to bargain and sell. Yunyu Mozong is going to a trading market. They do not have a store or sell goods. They are only responsible for transportation. Choo-choo, they have old customers and go to deliver. At the gate of the market, Ye Kong and others got out of the car, and everyone said goodbye. However, in addition to Ye Kong Huang Shishi, there is also the monk Ji Dan, who is called Wu Brother. This guy's injury is completely healed. It seems that the pain caused by his broken love is also completely healed. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 758. Come to Wanjian Realm. Yedaiu, in Xiaoyushan, there is nowhere to go, it is better to be a companion. There he is Wu Brother, not Wu Brother. Of course, no matter what brother he is, Ye Kong doesn't want to go with him, waving his hand, Wu Daiu should be busy by myself, I have something to do with my lady. Wu Tian laughed, it doesn't matter, just follow me below, you should treat me as if I don't exist, rest assured, if you fight with anyone, I will definitely help. Ye Kong didn't have much to say to him. He directly pulled Huang Shishi away and Wu Tian hung behind him. After walking for a while, Ye finally got bored, stopped, and waited for Wu Tian to follow up. He said angrily, I said Wu Daiu, you don't have to expect anything. That's a moonlight fairy, not your horse. Please be practical. This woman on the street, please chase after you, ask, but don't follow. But Wu Tian was eager to follow, sophistically said, Ye Daiu, there are so many people in this street, you are going in the same direction as you right now. But you obviously follow me. I'm not used to being followed. But Wu Tian also said that Huang Shishi had released a powerful Yuanying Zhenjun consciousness in front of him and oppressed Wu Tian's Yuan Shen. The boy was trembling and sweating. Hurry up, Huang Shishi snorted coldly. Wu Tian did not expect that this mortal woman turned out to be Yuanying Zhenjun, and she ran away in fright. Ye Kong walked over and sighed, you have used your spiritual power again, be careful not to give up. Huang Shishi suppressed the mana and said, it's annoying. I hate this kind of bullshit. Let's go to Wanjian Demon. The two walked all the way to the gate of Wanjian Dizong, and they didn't need to ask for directions. The Wanjian Dizong was on a hill not far from the main city. Standing in the city, they could see the palaces and the misty mountains on the other side. Unlike Kangnan, Yunyeo has a small area, so most of the Zongmen like to be built near the main city, which is very easy to find. On the way out of the city to Wanjian Mozong, Huang Shishi couldn't help asking, what are you doing in Wanjian Mozong? Are you really a disciple of Wanjian Mozong? Ye Kong laughed, I'm not their disciple, can I watch God Li Yan fly? Huang Shishi yelled, just you? A fake Dan monk, that's good. What's not good is a little real person who builds a foundation. Can people let you in? I'm afraid you will be kicked out when you walk to the gate. They dare. Hurry me out, and my head isn't around my neck, someone stared hard. Huang Shishi laughed, don't let me identify myself then. Ye Kong despised, I'm less narcissistic, just be a prince of the demon master, let me be, I'm not even. Huang Shishi annoyed, okay. I don't care about you anymore, I'll see what you can do with a real person. Coming to Wanjian's zone, Huang Shishi couldn't help but sigh, this Wanjian's zone is really extraordinary in scale. The Shanmentori is so high and luxurious. Looking at this material, it is made of extremely rare white black gold stone. Such a huge piece, I don't know how much spiritual stone it will cost, it's really amazing. Yekong nodded and said, it looks like these 10,000 sword demons are really unusual. Huang Shishi hummed again, when we have developed the sound of the demon, we must use such a large piece of spiritual stone to make the gate. Yekong laughed, it was estimated that it was taken away in half a month. Their conversation caught the attention of the concierge. Although those gatekeepers are just the practice of the gas refiner, these days the true monarchs they receive do not know how many. Seeing Yekong is just a practice of building a foundation, the woman is even a mortal, these two people are actually discuss at the gate of his own mountain, and those disciples came to catch people. Wanjian Demon Mountain Gate, idlers wait to avoid. Yekong politely hugged his fist, this younger brother, in the lower Yekong is an old friend of Gazong, specially come to see Lord Li Yan. The monk snorted immediately, ironically, knowing that our main prince has soared, and all the old people have come, so I want to ask for some wealth before the main lord leaves, isn't it ancient? The goalkeeper monk is true. Whenever a monk soars, those magic weapons are useless. There will always be a lot of relatives who can't hit the pole, or old people who have met him, and want to ask for more at the last time. Generally ascension monks are also willing to reward them casually, which is a happy money. However, those minor repairers are unwilling. After giving these people, they get less. Huang Shishi looked at someone proudly, and said in her heart, bragging just now, I knew you couldn't get in. This kind of high-end faction is very snobbish. You, a small real person, just want to see the sovereign, let alone Wanjian Mozong it's just to go to our painting and sound magic zone so good. Yekong glanced at the gatekeeper, and said, the dog's eyes are low on people, and I won't care about you for the first time. After hearing what he said, Huang Shishi hurried back 2 steps, this boy, it's all crazy everywhere, aren't you looking for a fight? Sure enough, the minor repair was furious and wanted to do it now. But Yekong snorted and took out a piece of jade. This is the jade card that Ye Yuan gave to Yekong before his death. This jade card is only available to the Wanjian demon sovereign of each session. Sovereign token, Keeper Xiaoxiu suddenly crashed. Several minor goalkeepers hurried over. One of the leading monks in the foundation period saluted, Sovereign token, see the card as you see the Lord. But Taoist, this card needs to be shown to me. Yekong handed the token over, and the monk looked at the word Li Yuan on the reverse side of the token, and immediately looked up with respect. It turned out to be the token of the first ascendant ancestor Li Yuan Taxian in this case. The real person in Zuji quickly returned the token to Yekong with both hands, and he was very polite, 2 seniors, they have offended a lot just now. How should this boy deal with it and ask the senior to show it? Yekong closed the sign and hummed with his nose, forget it, I said it, I missed him for the first time. The goalkeeper Xiao Xiang thanked him quickly. This is the real person who built the base and waved, 2 seniors, please inside. Yekong raised an eyebrow at Huang Shishi, flung his sleeves, and walked in. Dead boy, surely there is some way to go, Huang Shishi whispered and followed in. Under the leadership of the real people in Zuji, Yekong and Huang Shishi all the way to the top of the mountain. The road was full of bloom and fairy birds were everywhere, showing the style of Wanjian demon section along the way. Huang Shishi's beauty looked around to see how the denominations were arranged. In the future, the devotion and magic can also be learned. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 759. 7 or 5 nights. After a while, the real people of Zuji took them into a magnificent palace, offered them tea, and asked them to wait a moment before going to the obituary. But Lord Li Yan is receiving the ambassador of Saint Demon section. This pair of Wanjian demon is the most honorable guest. How can I have time for other people? The real person who built the foundation has not made it clear yet, Li Yan scolded. I have not seen. Are you receiving VIPs? How can I have time for other people? There is no sight. Wait for me. How dare the real person who built the foundation say more, just go out and wait. It's already afternoon in Yekong and Yunzong Mozong, etc. It's not too early to arrive at Wanjian Mozong. It's getting dark, and over there, Lord Li Yan will accompany the messenger to eat and drink. There was no time to receive them. Looking at a black sky, the tall and empty palace was even colder, and Huang Shishi was a little impatient. Yekong, this 10,000 sword demon's hospitality is too special, isn't it? It really made us wait for 2 hours, it's simply too much. Your little brand does not work. Yekong didn't expect that they had been waiting for so long. There wasn't even a person answering it, and he was despised by Huang Shishi. It was really awful. Wait, let's go. As soon as Yekong and Huang Shishi came out, they met the real person who built the base. The real person at Zuji smiled bitterly. The suzerain is receiving the guests. I think it would be better for the two to stay in our welcoming guest house. We will call on you tomorrow when the suzerain is free. If he came back earlier and said such a thing, that's okay. Let him wait till now and come to the sentence. How could Yekong stay? No need. Let's go out and find a place by yourself. You in the province thought that I was somebody who wanted to eat white food. Yekong led Huang Shishi straight down the mountain. Forget it, don't be angry, these denominations are like this back in the city. Huang Shishi comforted Yekong, holding his arm and said, let's find a hotel for the night. She looked around with her eyes, quickly pointed to a bustling place, Ben Ragui Inn, home away from home, good name is there. Yekong also looked away, but when he saw the flag on a cart in front of the inn, his pupils shrank suddenly. What attracted Yekong's sight was a big car parked in front of the hotel. There is nothing strange or special about the big car. Like Yunzong Mozong, this big car can load and load people, and it is specially designed to run long distances. What surprised Yekong was the flag on the cart. The banner is in red on a black background. Easy. Oh my god, it's the Yi family firm. Calm. Yekong couldn't keep calm at this moment. Seeing fellow tears. This Yizu represents that Yunyeo also has a Yujia firm, which means that the Yujia firm has a relationship with Yunyeo. It means that Yekong has great hope of returning to Kangnan. How could Yekong not be excited? I heard that the Yi family firm is the largest in the Shadow family firm and provides the highest quality goods, so it is highly respected by monks from all walks of life. I heard that every time the Yi family firm's fleet arrives, there are monks in those sales points wait in line in advance to wait for shopping. Huang Shishi finished, then noticed someone's expression. Are you crying or laughing? What's your expression? Of course it is a laugh. Yekong laughed, hugged Huang Shishi, kissed her smooth face, and pulled her into the Ben Ragui Inn quickly. I thought it was very quiet and elegant, but when I walked to the gate, I found it was messy. The first floor of the inn is a wine restaurant, where various people are sitting in a mess, most of them are male monks. Standing at the door, you can see the inside platform. Several enchanting women in tulle are dancing wildly. You can see that the women's tulle is hollow, and the sharp tip of the back of the tulle is so eye-catching, even under the belly. You can also see the faint black in the tulle. The men in the audience screamed loudly with drinks, shouting to let the women lift the tulle and let them see what happened. Then someone threw the stone, and the woman lifted the tulle slightly, gave them a small glance at those parts, and quickly covered it back, waiting for more people to throw the stone. Looking at the chaos in this inn, Huang Shishi could not help but frown and held Yekong. Although she seems to be bold, but she is actually a serious 800 virgin, usually just to tease with Yekong. Today, seeing this behavior in the court, she's still quite unacceptable. Otherwise we'll change the family, Huang Shishi played back. In fact, as a guest of the earth, Yekong is not surprised by these scenes and can understand, but understanding does not necessarily participate in the period. If at any other time, Yekong might change to another house, but he needs to get in touch with the Yi family and must live here. Relax, it's all low-level monks. Yekong stepped in with Huang Shishi's arm. You guys. Huang Shishi sighed, pinched Yekong's arm, and followed in. Yekong knew that she had misunderstood and did not explain, and went straight in. Most of the monks here are practicing gas or building the base period. After all, those ancestors of the Dan or Yuan Junjianjun claim to be identities and will not have fun on such occasions. Huang Shishi had a hot body, and a pretty face was so charming even if it wasn't hooked, so when you went in, it immediately caught the attention of those men. The eyes of those men are as if they can be worn through people's clothes, staring at Huang Shishi's parts without any regrets. Huang Shishi's whole body is not comfortable. They have all seen Yekong, but they have something in their hearts. How about Senior Fake Dan? Can I see it? If it weren't for seeing your fake Dan, we would have made fun of it. Huang Shishi was looked at so unreasonably. Her heart was very annoyed, but she could not get angry again. No matter how great you are, you can't stop others from seeing you. But she was the one who was most annoyed in her heart. How could she be so embarrassed and uncomfortable if the boy insisted on living here? But someone smiled as if he didn't care. But sneer in my heart, the woman who looks at me with this look? Don't you know I'm a plague god? When Yekong walked to the bar counter in the store, there was Xiao Er greeted immediately, and smiled, "This senior, do you live or drink? Let's stay, open it for me." Yekong looked at Huang Shishi, and saw that she had no objection, and said, "A room." Anyway, Jia waited for a room. "Thank you, pay the deposit of 50 spirits first." Yekong handed over 50 spirit stones, and then gave 10 more stones, and asked, "Little brother, ask you something." The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 760. It doesn't matter who is 7 or 60. Xiao Er received the tip, and immediately became more enthusiastic. He kept asking, "Senior, you must know everything. Which one lives in the Yi family?" When Xiao Er heard it, he immediately showed a smile that all men knew, and said, "Yi family, are you talking about the Shadow Clan women? They also open the house." Xiao Er said, leaning his head over, "Senior, if you give a few more spirit stones, I will give you the room number next to the Shadow Clan woman, so that you can easily meet." Yekong is funny, this in really makes money, and the Shadow Women's room can add money next door. He didn't say much and gave 10 more spirit stones. They were talking here, and Huang Shishi was on the side. At this time, a man couldn't help but want to come to talk. Although Yekong is a fake Dan live person, he is still bold. Yekong's forbearance just made them bold. A real man in the late period of construction came with a wine glass and just wanted to talk to Huang Shishi for nothing. But at this moment, a scream came suddenly behind him. "My eyes! What is this? Ah! I can't see it. Brother, help me. Something is getting into my eyes, ah!" A howling wolf wailed, accompanied by the sound of tables and chairs falling, the sound of wine glasses falling to the ground, and the scene became chaotic, and those who screamed and screamed, without exception, were those who were disrespectful to Huang Shishi. These monks have a period of refining and building a base. Their eyes are dark, but their hearts are bright. This is obviously the real thing that the fake Dan did. "Brother! It's the real false Dan, take revenge on me." None of these monks were alone. They were injured and immediately called for companions. Immediately, Dozens of monks' instruments were shot, surrounded by them, one by one staring at Yekong. Although they are all in the middle and late stages of building a base, they have a lot of people, and they believe that if everyone goes together, this guy who has a great building base is definitely not an opponent. Soon, Yekong and others were surrounded in front of the bar. The guys inside were frightened and rushed out of the bar to persuade him, "Everyone, calm down. Things haven't been figured out yet. We still ask Wanjian Mozong's patrol monk come." The next big monk shoved away, and shouted, "What the did you figure out? Now it's clear. We're gonna slap this little white face and return my brother's eyes. Yeah, kill him. What terrible is a fake Dan real person? Let's go together, we can't believe him." A few real people at the back of the building made the courage of the leading monk stronger. He took 2 steps forward and stared at Yekondeo coldly. "Boy, this is a big deal. Do you know who I am? I am a blood sword thanks to Mozong." Without waiting for his name, he saw a brass bell suddenly appear in Yekong's hand. Dementor bell. Yekong has been useless for a long time, but this thing really works well with these low-level real people. When the bell rang, all monks downstairs were deterred. The brain-building monks suddenly lost their brains, while those who practiced chi refining were fainted, spit foam on their mouths, and Yuan Shen was seriously injured. When the lead monk awoke, a silver flying sword was already on his neck. And the fake Danziobai face was looking at him with a disdainful look. "I don't want to know your name, and I don't want to know who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. It's important that you remember it clearly, and you should brighten up the tricks and see if the other party is causing you. It's up." After Yekong spoke, he patted his face with a flying sword, and said, "I don't want to kill someone in the inn, so I will give you a chance. If there is no more disrespect, it will be done." Yekong opened a mouth, Fei Jian retracted his belly. At this time, the owner of this shop has come out, this is an old ancestor. He wanted to scream, who would dare to cause trouble in Laozi's shop? But when he saw Yekong being so sturdy, he didn't dare to speak, and hurriedly came over and laughed, "Everyone dissipates the fire. Tonight is my money again to Yekong, do NT be excited, do NT be excited." I send my friend back to the room. Yekong didn't leave, and he shouted at the monks, "Who else is not convinced?" The menacing monks just bowed their heads one by one, afraid to answer. A real building person with magic weapon, can this be an ordinary person? No matter how many people there are farts, when the bell rings, the magic weapon comes out, how many kills? Yekong snorted, raised his hand and retrieved the dozens of gold-winged ants, and asked the real person who wanted to chat with Huang Shishi, "Why are you holding 2 wine glasses? Want a drink with my wife?" The kid was so frightened that he was urinating, and he knelt down. "Senior, you have misunderstood. Actually, in fact, I'm here to work as a bartender for free." Yekong hummed, "You have to highlight your tricks as a volunteer." After he said, he took Huang Shishi upstairs. There is a special formation method upstairs, so noisy below, and it seems very quiet above. The inn owner also followed, leading Yekong to the room. When they entered the room, the boss fisted. "Dao, thank you." Yekong knew that the boss thanked him for not killing anyone in the shop. He nodded and returned a gift before closing the door. Entering the room, lighting up the formation, Huang Shishi giggled. Then he picked up the pole for the curtains at the table and learned Yekong's tone, "I don't know your name, let alone who you are." "It doesn't matter who you are," Huang Shishi said with a smile, "Xianggong you speak, well, a bit arrogant and a bit handsome, I will not use words to describe it." Yekong snorted and sat down at the table, "Teach you, that's cool. Yunyeo, who has no culture. Cool. It seems a bit interesting." Huang Shishi nodded, and said, "I like your cool look. It will be cool in the future." Yekong laughed. It's nice to be a cool guy once in a while, but it's so cool all day, so use another word. What new words are there, my great talent? Huang Shishi asked curiously. Ye Kong laughed, that's pretending to be B. Huang Shishi laughed and yelled, you are a hooligan. The two laughed a little. Ye Kong took Huang Shishi into his arms and asked, are you pretending that I went to visit the Yi family firm? Huang Shishi suddenly angered, you greedy boy, do you also want to hook up with a shadow woman to be willing? Ye Kong laughed, how can a woman be enough, and I have a shadow man, and a woman. Huang Shishi was disgusted, pushed someone away, and scolded, BT, I don't have a straight shape all day, I don't know which sentence is true or false. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 761. 76-1 Approach. Ye Kong pulled her back again and said, what amuse you to play? In fact, what I think is, since there is a shadow team here, and we are not familiar with the road, why not join them and go to Pipa with them? Huang Shishi was right to think about it, but he still didn't believe it, and stared at Ye Kong. Really? I don't want to go along with the girl of the clan tribe, go along with each other. Ye Kong said with a straight face, relax, I really don't have any thoughts. I will go to Pipa with the team. It is estimated that it will take several months. During this period, I have planned to retreat and refining my second magic weapon. Sword. Ye Kong's Shenbiwo golden sword was so powerful that it wasn't as good as it was, but it was still a mother-in-law flying sword. How amazing it is. Even Huang Shishi was surprised. If she knows that these are 5 flying swords, and they can multiply several times more power, she doesn't know what expression it is. Listening to Ye Kong's meaning, there is no meaning of the shadow girl. Huang Shishi thought for a while and said, it's a bit difficult. Generally, these teams are not willing to add outsiders. Like the roaming Mozong before, they also recruited monks because of fear of being attacked. Traveling, moreover, the people of the Shadow clan are also very wary of foreigners, and they will not add outsiders to the convoy, so we want to go with them, and we will definitely be rejected. Ye Kong frowned. I didn't expect the Shadow clan to be like this. If Huang Shishi said it, it would be really difficult to add it. Huang Shishi said suddenly, I have an idea. She smirked and said, it's better that we have a hero to save the beauty. I pretend that the bad guys are attacking them, and then you appear and fight me away. They thank you and let you joined. Ye Kong fainted, Sister Shishi, you are really big-headed, you don't even think of this kind of dog blood plot. Then I ask you, if you pretend to be a bad person, do you want to go with me? Huang Shishi frowned. This is also, hey, let Zhu Lingfei pretend to be a bad person. Forget it, you have no idea. Ye Kong quickly interrupted her, and said, actually, I have an idea. I heard that the Shadow clan loves dance and singing, and poetry is right. I would use these initiatives to attract them over. Huang Shishi depressed, then you don't have to soak again. Ye Kong shook his head and said, can't say that, the Shadow people have men and women, and it's good to attract a man over. Then you are not allowed to sing love songs or lyrics. Then I groan, the wind blows cold ass, the cold wind pierces the door. Huang Shishi fainted. Brother, are you too vulgar? Of course, Ye could not really sing this thing. However, his idea is still good, and it is better to wait for someone to come. Here comes the problem. Each house has an independent formation. This formation not only has a defensive function, but also a function of blocking noise. In other words, even if someone shouts his voice here, he can't hear it. So what should I do? Huang Shishi thought of a stupid method, using her consciousness to lock the formation. The Shadow clan will not stay in there, as long as their formation stops, someone will start singing and singing. Yekong is sad, buddies have fallen to the point where no one can listen to them. Okay, I'm sorry to trouble you. Although it's a bit clunky, I can't forcibly break through the crowd and sing to them, right? Huang Shishi giggled, it's really not too sick. Although Yekong is calculating the Shadow Clan, there is no malicious intention, but he wants to go to Peeper Realm together, and by the way inquire whether the Yi family firm has a relationship with the Kangnan Yi family. But someone's calculations are different. In a light business tavern near Bin Rugui Inn, several people wearing the clothes of Wanji and Mozong were surrounded by a man of likeness, and bowed their heads to discuss something. Shiwa, what did you hear? The monk Jidan talking to Li Bo during the day asked in a low voice. This Shiwa was originally a chop firewood on a mountain, but was found to have a spiritual root, so he came to the main city, and wanted to enter the Wanjian demon sect, but could not find the door, but later encountered these Wanjian demon sect, thought he waited until the opportunity. Chai Wa said, inquiry, this time there are 8 Shadow Clan members, 4 men and 4 women, led by a pair of brothers and sisters. My brother is Xue Lishuang and my sister is Xue Bingning. A Danish monk hurriedly asked, what is it like? Another monk scolded, useless guy, look at you urgently. He asked again, how do these shadow people cultivate? Chai Wa said, the shadow people are very beautiful, but their cultivation is different from ours. I can't see it. Everyone nodded. Indeed, the shadow martial arts practiced by the Shadow Clan are originally a kind of ancient martial arts, supplemented by refining the body, and the special practice method that Reiki most fancy does not have the state of a monk at all, so it is invisible at first glance. However, Shiwa also reflected an important situation. Their team, not only has 8 Shadow Clan members, but also a dozen monks in the foundation period to work as buddies for them. According to their chat, I heard that the Snowfrost one person can be worth a dozen of them. Everyone groaned, and judged for a while, a person hits a dozen real people, and according to our realm, there should be mid-dandan or late dandan. When they heard this, everyone said nothing. They are 5 monks who have become dandan, but there are 8 monks who are equivalent to dan, all of them are in the middle and late stages of dandan. How can this battle be fought? Look at you, the leading monk Jidan sarcastically said, colorful and daring goods, don't forget, we are sneaking attacks. Damn people. Not against them, after he said, he motioned to the child go on. Yes, Shiwa continued, in fact, the shadow men are like us. At night, they want to go out and drink wine to find women. However, they are very good looking. They are afraid of the women of the shadow people. Go out together, and then we will have a chance. All of those guys immediately laughed. 8 of the Shadow Clan lost 4 and 4 women, so what's the problem? A monk laughed, the men of the Ying tribe go to engage in dusty women, and we will go to their women, haha. Chai Wa also laughed and said, and they are 2 people living in the same room. I have done some tricks on the formation of those 2 rooms. When the formation suddenly disappears, you can start while they practice. Okay, the lead monk was overjoyed and patted Shiwa sharply, saying, when we came, Li Bo had already said. If this is done well, you will have your Wanjian demon disciple token. Shiwa hurriedly saluted, I've seen Shizu. Haha. Everyone laughed. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 762. Robbery in the middle of the night. The night was dark, and the lights downstairs were still bright in Bin Rugui Inn. The dancing women had passed through less and the drunk monks seemed more crazy. At this moment, it is not the spirit who throws the stones, but the spirit who gave them. Shiduo, tonight you can take the dancer with you. In the dark outside the inn, someone was shaking, a voice hummed coldly, these women, do NT give me anything, do NT want to eat a bite of Xiantao, not a basket of rotten apricots. Another voice sounded, those are the real people who build the base, they can only play with this kind of goods. Then a deep voice sounded, you have to speak with a voice, don't mess up the good things tonight. At the same time, on the second floor of the Binrugui Inn, several rooms were opened, and the 4 Shadow Clan men slipped out. It was the Shadow Clan man who led the Shadow Clan. Although his sister must be meditating, he was still carefully, 4 people stomped out of the room. Suddenly, a high-pitched voice sounded, when will the moon be, asked the sky. The sudden sound startled the 4 of them. Shuez Huang looked at his sister's room in shock, and cursed, damn, neurosis, reading poetry in the middle of the night, let's go. It is someone who is reading poetry. Originally, they thought that these film clan people would visit him as a talented person, but no one knew that they would not bird him. Someone raised his voice and shouted, I want to go back by wind, and I'm afraid of Chiu Luyu. The shadow people go further and further. Someone was in a hurry, squeaked open the door of the room, and shouted at the back of the 4 shadow men, hey, don't go. Dance and figure out the shadows, why is it on earth? Hello, what are you running? Bang and closed the door, someone cursed, his ancestors were stubborn, and I don't know if it was the Shadow Clan. Huang Shishi in the room laughed and couldn't stand back. Good plan, haha, this is really a good plan. It's a generation of conspiracy, haha, it's really a laugh to me. These clan people are all uncultured. It's okay to laugh and die. Yekong sat down angrily and found that Huang Shishi was still laughing there, suddenly angry. You laugh again. You laugh, I see if you laugh or not, they're all together. Haha, don't, itch, you're necrotic. The 2 were in a mess on the big bed. Soon, Huang Shishi was pushed down by Yekong. It was strange. Every time Yekong held the 2 of beautiful meat, she immediately obediently, like a kitten, looking at Yekong with a pair of beautiful eyes. This is a natural charm, but it has never been developed by a man. Yekong knew that he had picked up treasure again, of course it would not be so rude, but gently undressed her clothes and belt. Although it is not the first time to rub, but every time I probe my hands in, Yekong wants to let the 2 proud mountains appear in the air today, and it is a feast for the eyes. Yekong wanted to see it several times. Huang Shishi was a bit shy and didn't agree, but today he was in a very good mood, so he resisted the shame and prepared to let someone see the mountain view. When Yekong untied her clothes, she clearly felt that her body was tight. When she took off her coat and removed her belly band, she could see that with her hands around, the tiny goosebumps floating on the white jade skin. Definitely a pure woman. These reactions made Yekong more devoted to this elder sister. If such a woman missed it, it would be a great loss. Seeing someone's long-cherished wish is about to come true, Das Han has only a layer of belly band to cover up, as long as he raises his hand. But God seems to be having trouble with someone. At this moment, Huang Shishi suddenly had her eyes closed, her face suddenly shoved Yekong away. At the same time, Yekong thought of a voice, not good. The big array next door was shut down, and someone wanted to start with those 2 Shadow Clan girls. The monks in the next room were proud. The defensive formation has been stopped, but the 2 shadow girls inside have no feeling and are still sitting at this moment. The shadow people practice meditation, but unlike the monks, they do not absorb the aura of the heavens and the earth, but they are sitting and feeling. They call it meditation. Finally, I saw 2 girls of the Shadow Clan. Those monks who were born in a joke suddenly looked happy, and the men in Yunyeo 8000 realms, how could there be a woman who did not want the Shadow Clan? In fact, there are 3, 6, and 9 other women in the Shadow Clan, but most of them are tall and handsome, and they are as few as Lu Junro as beautiful as they are. But you don't care about this. Everybody cares about the word Yingzhu. For many years, Yingzhu women represents nobleness and beauty. This is the most important thing. A few monks of Dandan had long been ready, and immediately threw a bundle of scents. These bundles of scents are not ordinary goods, and they have high-end goods with additional functions. They bundle each other and restrict the other's movements. They also have the function of suppressing the yuan-shen and speaking. In other words, they were and there was no resistance at all when the two monks raised their hands and a white light flew out. The two shadow girls did not have any resistance at all, and they were firmly. Xue awakened when she condensed. She opened her eyes in panic and found several strange men standing in front of her. She wanted to struggle, to get weapons, to shout, but everything was futile. A fat monk Jadan laughed, "Do nt waste any effort. This bundle of immortal cords is made with the animal muscles of the Kangming beast. Controlled, haha, that is to say, your body is not yours, it is mine, and I can play as much as I want." Swibing condensed his eyes, glaring angrily at the man in front of him, anxious to tear it into pieces. But she couldn't speak, couldn't move, couldn't even move her fingers. The fat man came up with a smug smile and looked intently. "Wow, the eyes are really purple, hey, beautiful, just like purple agate, rest assured, I will treat you well, haha." Another monk urged, "Don't talk nonsense to her. Luzi I would be big when this leaks out. Hurry up and pack it up first. There are two behind it. Wait for it to be tied back and play slowly." When the fat man came over with a black cloth bag, Xue Bingning's angry eyes turned to begging, and then, tears flowed even more. Shouting in her heart, "Don't! How could this be? Brother, come and save me." The fat man saw Swibbing condensate and shed tears, but also gave birth to pity and cherish the heart, and said, "Little beauty, don't cry, just a few of us will play and won't sell you to the blue house." Suddenly, Swibbing was like falling into an ice cellar. She had seen her destiny, and was humiliated arbitrarily, and finally sold into the greenhouse. She hated to die, but she had no right to die. With her black pockets ruthlessly cut off from her sight, she was desperate.